And just ahead, the left loves to villainize him, but Elon Musk has just come to the rescue. Reaction next.
It was pretty cool.
Tom, now SpaceX is no longer using those arms, or chopstick-like arms, to catch the rocket. So, explain the difference in the landing at this point.
All right, this is the workhorse Falcon 9 that lofts a lot of Starlink satellites and other communication satellites, plus cargo missions, and now this crew taxi to the space station. So it comes back usually to a barge that's floating out in the Atlantic a couple hundred miles off the coast.
Yeah, we're
and
watching
so this
right
rocket,
now, by the way, Tom, sorry to interrupt. We're watching the rocket come down on the left side of the screen. We're seeing it in air on its way down, and
event coming up.
Yeah, it's
for the first stage. That's coming up here in about
it looks like it's a successful. We'll dip back into the mission control.
Confirmation there from the crew as they continue to make their way into orbit. Now 7 minutes into today's flight, the first stage making its way back down to Earth, and the second stage continuing to fire.
This is an awesome view. Let's see if we can see the center engine relight for that landing burn here in a few seconds. There's that landing burn. Let's watch as Falcon 9 touches down on landing zone 1. Stage 2 SES.
And now that the first stage has made its way back to Earth.
All right, Tom, this is, again, for someone who grew up watching the Apollo missions as a little kid, to watching this perfect landing there. Explain what goes into that moment to make that a successful re-entry and landing.
Well, this is really a phenomenal throwback to the 1950s when I used to watch in the space race decade of the 1960s. Used to watch, serials on Saturday morning TV where the rocket would always come back and land on its tail. And now it's 60 years later, and that's come to fruition. The shuttle used to recover our first stage boosters, but they had to be fished out of the Atlantic for reuse. This is so much more elegant to see SpaceX bring it back down to the pad. They had enough excess fuel this time to skip the barge and come right back to the Cape Canaveral landing site. So it's truly a marvel. And I thought the space shuttle landing was the biggest thrill in my spaceflight career in terms of elegantly touching down on a runway. But this is a pretty impressive technological tour de force.
Oh no, it's like you can't even believe it's actually happening. And again, I keep thinking, Clayton, of the work that goes into the unsung heroes of this are the astrophysicists and the engineers, the astronauts. You guys are cool, and obviously you're brilliant. But the people behind the scenes who don't necessarily get the credit, or maybe don't even want the credit, that make all of this possible. Every level of detail matters in this.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Laura. And those people, there are thousands of those people that are dedicated to do the right thing. They always have crew safety and vehicle safety and mission safety in mind. And that's one of the neat things about spaceflight. You hear astronauts say it all the time that spaceflight is a team sport, and we're just the pointy tip of the spear, and we get a lot of the accolades, but there are thousands that are busting their hump every day to make this possible. And the innovation that SpaceX shows, and in all the things they do, down to just the cameras that they use and the views that they can give us now, all of it's just simply incredible.
Clayton, again, yes. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. We're getting this information just as it's, so the capsule has separated with the astronauts, and that's what, I mean, the fact that we can see these pictures is unreal. I don't know if both of you can see this where you're sitting and doing your analysis, but successful separation. They're on their way. What are the astronauts thinking right now, Clayton? All systems go.
I think that Yeah, all systems are go. They're very excited. I'm sure they've shared a few high fives and some woohoos, but you know, they'll be looking at their gauges, as Dr. Jones said. You know, want to make sure that everything's going well. You don't want to get too complacent too soon. But there'll be a time here in the future, very shortly, when they'll be able to just relax a little bit, start to enjoy microgravity, perhaps take off their spacesuits and just chill for a bit and enjoy where they are. I mean, think about where they are right now in outer space. It's awesome.
Tom, the astronauts who we certainly believe will be rescued tomorrow night, when they make their way back to ground, back to Earth, talk about their reentry, their personal reentry, and what that's like.
They're in for a lot of great reunions with their family. Of course, they were supposed to be gone 8 days. They were up there for 9 months, so they've missed a lot of family events over these last few months, Laura. And so I think their biggest satisfaction will be coming back and reuniting with their families. They'll have a successful mission at the space station behind them. And then, of course, they've got to take on the challenge, the next challenge, which is readapting to our home planet's gravity. And it's a 4 to 5 week process for them to go through the medical battery of tests. And then with a rehab coach that Clayton's gone through, they're going to be getting used to 1G, once again, the planet they were born on.
Amazing, rigorous physical toll it takes on your body. Tom and Clayton, invaluable analysis. Thank you so much.